Governor Hickenlooper made headlines this week for his vetoes of several bills from this year's legislative session, bringing his total to 9 this year. The vetoes included bills that would have sealed autopsies of children and that would have allowed marijuana tasting clubs and medical marijuana use for kids in the autism spectrum. Krista, through his 8 years as governor, Governor Hickenlooper has vetoed 23 bills, 9 of them this session, and this was a split legislature. This wasn't a bunch of Republican bills trying to get shoved on his desk. It was a split legislature. What gives?
You know, I think he's an independent governor. It's something that I've appreciated about his tenure. In this case, you know, he said, you know, we're running an experiment here, talking about marijuana, being a marijuana state. We need to take time. And I think that's true. Whether you're talking about medical uses, autism, it could be a good use. On the other hand, when we're talking about homeopathic remedies, that is things that science has not shown yet to be effective, what if a parent chooses this at the expense of choosing a more effective and science-proven method to treat the symptoms of autism? Similarly, if we're looking at some of the other things, why not take a step back? The sealing of cases, for example, autopsy cases of kids. What if there's wrongdoing? If we're shutting that from the eyes of others, could we actually miss something? So I think he was right to say, hey, it's not a firm no, not forever, but let's take a step back.
Ben, were you surprised to see so many vetoes, especially coming out of a session where you have a razor-thin Republican majority in the Senate? You have, while it's a Democratically controlled House, it wasn't like a whole lot of progressive bills were making it through the Senate. I guess I was surprised, I'll say, of seeing 9 different vetoes really covering a lot of different areas. What were your thoughts?
Very surprising. You know, I think I certainly took notice of the cannabis bills that he vetoed, and you know, to me, it's a little late for the governor to be starting to express some kind of concern around public health and safety on these issues. They have largely ducked those issues, and that gets into some really tall weeds that we don't have to go to, but I just thought it was silly on its face. I found it hypocritical. I also think that, yes, it's a fast-paced industry and a lot of change and action, but frankly, Colorado is already losing its grip as a thought leader and as a market leader in the industry, and I think that this is only going to serve to help us backslide, and I thought it was pretty backwards on the part of the governor.
Justine, from the variety of vetoes we have to choose from, what was the most surprising to you?
You know, I don't think any of them are really surprising. It's no secret, I think, that Hickenlooper is not a huge fan of marijuana, and it's even interesting with the Cory Gardner bill that came out on the national level, that this is a huge industry for Colorado and there's money involved, and it's really surprising to me that he continually takes a step back, especially when it came to like the consumption laws or the tasting rooms, because this is the brewery guy who had beer tastings and breweries everywhere, and suddenly we have this new industry and there's this reluctant, you know, he's reluctant to go forward and move this forward for our economy. So it's not surprising to me, but I wish that he would be more progressive on that issue or more open to marijuana issues.
Pat, I guess it says a lot about 2018, where we have a Democratic governor, John Hickenlooper, vetoing bills regarding marijuana, and we have a Republican senator in Cory Gardner looking to pass federal legislation about marijuana in D.C. What do you make of it?
And not only that, but today Trump said he would probably sign that law if it gets through. So that's really interesting. I think the autopsy decision was the right one, and it's no surprise that Hickenlooper is going for more transparency and, in fact, more protection of children because it will be transparent. We will be able to know
Media
things.
entities fought for that one, right?
Oh, absolutely, they fought. We always fight for as much public access as possible. That's not because we want to put the names out there. It's because you want to know what happened. But speaking of fighting for children, I have to say I was very surprised by the autism, just that veto. The tap room, we knew we would get the usual. He made his fortune and name in beer. But the autism issue, the families were there protesting, waiting for him. They'd been begging him to sign that bill. They hung out outside his office all day Tuesday. He met with them twice. You know, they said, please, I mean, these are desperate parents. It's not like they haven't tried anything possible. It's just like the children with seizure disorder who came out here just so they could try medical marijuana for children who were suffering thousands sometimes of seizures a day. And it worked, but it took how many years? And finally it had to go through the legislature. The Colorado Department of Health didn't come up with a rule for that. And I think now we'll also see that the seizure autism, the legislature will do it again, and maybe a new governor will take care of it.